The adventurers stood before the looming Tower of Strife, the infernal glow of Gehenna casting long shadows behind them. They had come seeking passage to the prime material plane, and only one being could grant them access. Zerthion, the cunning Arcanaloth who controlled the portal. He was clad in violet robes and wreathed in arcane power. Zerthion regarded the group with a knowing smile. "You wish to leave this wretched plane? Aid me, and the portal is yours. My master, the Ultraloth Vasith, must fall. Destroy him, help me destroy him, and I will grant your passage." The adventurers exchanged glances. They had faced powerful foes before, but to challenge an Ultraloth was to invite death itself. Still, Zerthion's offer was their best chance at escape, so they agreed. First, they struck at Vasith's spies, eliminating informants who would alert the tyrant to their plans. Then, they joined forces with Zerthion's allies. Zoraxes, a master of soul-binding magic. Falcor, a Nikoloth warrior whose axe splits fiends in half. And Velcris, a mercenary captain who craved battle above all else. On the night of the coup, a magical storm raged as they stormed the tower. Vasith's forces fought with ruthless efficiency, but the adventurers carved a path through the carnage, their blades and spells shattering the Ultraloth's defenses. In the throne chamber, Zerthion and the adventurers confronted Vasith. "You dare challenge me?" The Ultraloth sneered, his grey-skinned form radiating raw power. The battle was brutal. Spells warped reality, steel clashed against enchanted flesh, and the air crackled with dark magic. The adventurers fought with all their might, pushing Vasith to his limits. At last, Zerthion steeled his moment, weaving a spell of pure entropy. The Ultraloth's form withered, and his soul was consumed by the void. As silence fell over the ruined chamber, Zerthion turned to the adventurers. "A promise kept. The portal is yours." With the victory secured and their path home again, the adventurers stepped through the swirling portal, leaving the Tower of Strife behind. But as Zerthion sat upon his new throne, a glowing glint flickered in his eye. His ambition had only just begun. Welcome. Today's video is on the Arcanaloth. First, what does the monster manual tell you? So, not much, really. The Arcanaloths are Yugoloths, which utilize their intelligence to hoard and exploit secrets. The Arcanaloths are said to utilize such secrets to coerce victims into doing their bidding. They're like charlatans, said to beguile victims with false promises and powerful spells and magic. Arcanaloths use their spellcasting to disguise themselves, as well as to defend themselves if needs must. This includes banishing these enemies into pages of their soul tome. Arcanaloths are magical constructs and allow Yugoloth to defend them before resorting to using their own magic in combat. What about the stats? Well, there's a lot to go through. But stats-wise, the Arcanaloth is a medium-sized fiend who, like all Yugoloths, are neutral evil. Arcanaloths have an AC of 17 and 175 HP. They have a 30-foot run speed and can move just as fast with a magical hover. The Arcanaloth's stats are surprisingly not superhuman. Its highest stat is obviously its intelligence, but it's still only a 20. The monster also has a nicer range of skills tuned to sniff out your player's lies, notably the +7 insight and the +7 perception rolls. The Arcanaloth also has a nice mix of resistances and immunities, including cold, fire, lightning, acid, poison. The Arcanaloth is another creature said to know all languages, but strangely also has telepathy. Arcanaloths are like all Yugoloths presented in the monster manual. They have a trait called Fiendish Restoration, wherein if they die outside of their home in the plane of Gehenna, a new body is formed and fully healed on Gehenna. Like most powerful fiends, the Arcanaloth also has magic resistance, which grants advantage on saves against spells and magic effects. The monster-defining trait of the Arcanaloth, in my opinion, is the Soul Tome and the Banishing Claw that goes with it, the former being a magic item and the latter being a melee attack. The mechanics of the Soul Tome are detailed, but the TLDR is that it forces a charisma save, and on a fail, the creature is trapped and incapacitated inside the tome in a demiplane. It's an interesting mechanic where if the creature fails 3 additional checks, they become trapped in the tome until the tome is destroyed. In addition to the tome, the Arcanaloth is also a formidable spellcaster, knowing spells such as Dimension Door, Mind Blank. The Arcanaloth also gets a free 30-foot teleport every turn as a bonus action. So basically a Misty Step that doesn't take the spell slot. The final feature is also their ability to cast Counter Spell once per turn as a reaction, and this does not burn a spell slot, so really powerful spell slinging. Next, let's talk about what the Monster Manual does not tell you. So, Arcanaloths are also known as Arcana Demons. They are greater Yugoloths, which act as the scribes and record keepers of Gehenna, and thus they manage all transactions related to demons and devils in the Blood War. Their knowledge of all languages makes them excellent contract forgers. As far as Yugoloths go, Arcanaloths are considered a civilized breed. They are said to keep themselves well groomed and they wear luxurious robes. But don't let their appearance deceive you. They have a silver tongue and they're experts in manipulation and only view others as stepping stones to become Ultraloths. Arcanaloths are said to reside in Gehenna, only leaving the plane if necessary, and only for short periods of time. They prefer to work through intermediaries and not get their hands dirty. In previous editions, Arcanaloths could only be hurt by strongly enchanted magical items, and this does not apply in the new stat block presented in the new Monsters Manual. Arcanaloths are said to be able to summon lesser Yugoloths to do their bidding, such as Mezzoloths and Dergoloths. Arcanaloth lairs in Gehenna were red iron fortresses located throughout the plane. Many of these iron fortresses had portals to other lands across the plane, even some to the material plane. Not all Arcanaloths stayed in such lairs, however. Many resided in the Tower of the Arcanaloths in Kamada, the second layer of Gehenna. Let's wrap this video up. So, the Arcanaloth, in conclusion, is a brutal and efficient force to be reckoned with. This creature is associated with having underlings, but if push came to shove, this creature could solo an adventuring party, with a few tactical exiles of PCs into the Soul Tome. I'm imagining Arcanaloth teleporting each round, gaining tactical advantage over the party. Worst case scenario, the Arcanaloth could just dimension door out. The only facet I don't understand came from the 5e book was, why does a creature with telepathy need to know all languages? And upon reading previous editions, it explained how the Arcanaloths use their knowledge of languages to write and forge contracts, at which point it clicked. I would have liked to see resistance from maybe non-magical bludgeoning, slashing, piercing damage like in previous editions. My only time using an Arcanaloth was in the Amber Temple in Curse of Strahd, but I don't think I used the monster to its fullest. It was just a boring combat, not the complex social encounter it could have been if I researched more prior to the session. The monster could be sprinkled into many scenarios as a recurring villain with good escape plan of Dimension Door, or worst case scenario, the Fiendish Restoration, where it becomes reborn in the plane of Gehenna. I like this monster overall. It could use some illusion spells, maybe like Mental Prison or Greater Invincibility could be a good addition. Overall, this is a fun and powerful monster. I'm giving it an 18 out of 20.